welcome to MetaTripping, y'all. Alright, so I did some quantum jumping for show through these leaps of faith and managed to get everything done that I think there was one small thing I might have wanted to start, but that was just me kind of getting ahead of myself. Just really piling it on for that moment of opportunity, because if you're going to work with the astral zodiac construct for your benefit and for your gain, full moon in Taurus, what better time than to tap into the energies of your hidden treasures, the energies of the treasures that you can access through taking quantum leaps. Having gone through a whole bunch of astrally interesting experiences in a very short span of time, I'm now interested to see what the pick-a-card readings have to convey. Also, I haven't been able to post very many videos this month because of the internal work, the inner spatial work that was required for me to be on point, really, for this full moon time. And it wasn't even like I was targeting that consciously, but Spirit was aware and lined me up. And just through listening to Spirit, you can, I'm not saying coast on autopilot, but you can breathe easy and relax because Spirit will navigate the, kind of the lay of the astral landscape and let you know what's what at any given time. All right, so I hope y'all are still working with those. Heart is your compass energies. That full moon, that's water wave energy. It's magnetic, and the water focus this month is all about that heart compass work. So there's 4D situations that could have arisen. Or could have arisen. But the power of the opposition, the corrupt opposition, as it were, on that level is just not there. It's just not there. It's just petty at this point, empty. I mean, it's been petty and empty, but it's just petty, empty, and now bitterly grasping for straws. So you can just keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop for the hands of time. Ha! How about that? I love it when a song kind of pops into my head, or a song lyric pops into my head, and it's so fitting. That's so fitting right now. Don't stop for the hands of time. Where we're going and how we're handling things, that's beyond time's restrictive capacities. All right, and that can be a little disorienting. It can be disorienting to the root chakra. It can be disorienting to your energy body. But you can call on help from Spirit to get where it is you're looking to go. So this is more of this particular pick-a-card reading is a where am I headed now type of focus. This is intended to be timeless. All right, so in the sense that it's a timeless reading, it is still obviously going to apply to the present time. If you're tuning in, you're listening to it now, but it's also in the future, tapping in at a future date. If you feel drawn to it, if you don't feel drawn to it now, but you feel drawn to it later, then that's when it's going to manifest for you. And I've been paying close enough attention to pick-a-card readings. One channel I recommend is Starseed Energetics, where she does she calls them timeless readings, and they are they're not pick-a-card. I don't think. I don't know why. I'm still dealing with just the slightest bit of spaciness when it comes to retrieving I guess mundane physical, kind of physical world, linear information at the moment. I'm still, I guess, calibrating at a crown chakra level. But yeah, no, her readings, she has some where you pick a timeline. she started doing that. And so those are that. But the other ones are like, you basically are the same way that you would look into a description box for someone who's calling their readings a pick a card. Hers is just kind of like what you're drawn to, and it could be any video from the past. And what I've found, because she set the intention for these readings to be timeless, like they are, so there have been times where it popped up in my feed, and I listened, and it was remarkable how much information she was channeling that was so spot on. You know what I'm saying? Like, just spot on the mark. For 2 years later, 3 years later, I found like a lot of her stuff from, like, I would say from like November, definitely after that as well, for sure. But the ones that really just had me like jaw dropped were like from November of last year and like before that. And it gave me a jaw drop. She tends to be jaw dropping, but it gave me a jaw dropping kind of reaction because of how she was describing, you know, certain things and how it really did sync up several years later in a certain kind of way. So, you know, and there are definitely other folks out there. I'm probably going to start recommending folks for y'all to check out because I'm very discerning with who I tune into. I'm extremely sensitive to energy. So, you know, if I'm tuning into someone and they're having like an ego issue, I have a difficult time like fixing my attention on it. It's like I can't get into the wave if like the ego's too loud. And it doesn't even have to be that it's being presented by you know, the person. Or, you know, any given person or whatever that's maybe having a day and decided to do a video. It's just that those waves I'm really sensitive to. So, but there are certain readers that, you know, I would say most of the time, like they're in their high vibrational wave, perhaps because they do their work in advance to make sure that they're in a high frequency before they begin to read energy and channel information. So she's one of them. Starseed Energetics, all one word, I believe. Yeah, it's all one word. And she's worth your time checking out if you're not familiar with her. A lot of the hidden gems don't have, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, but are like quantum geniuses. So it pays to go and have a look because sometimes folks are more hidden for a reason. But when you happen upon them, it's a life-changing experience. You know what I'm saying? So it always pays to, like, if you're drawn to something and it feels right, give it that time. You know what I'm saying? Because there's like a lot of popularity contest people out there who can be very, very engaging. But there's something, you know, like there's something else in the energy wave. You know what I mean? I think in this time, it's best to focus on, and only you're going to know what's going to resonate with your energy system. Only you're going to know what's going to resonate with your path forward. So it could be anyone on any given day. You know what I'm saying? There could be a day that, you know, you stop by this channel and you're like, yeah, you know what, like, I'm not really feeling that particular wave. I don't know if that's the direction. You know what I'm saying? That, you know what I mean? That I want to take. Maybe you do a pick a card or what have you in there. Well, let me see what else is going on. There may be a more specific message to what you're going through that gives you just that aha moment that you require to activate whatever spirit wants you to activate. There could be a book that instead of tuning into YouTube readings, you could really be drawn to, like, not deal with technology at all. You might have one of those really deep analog moments, and that book may have the key to your life. You know what I'm saying? Because what needs to be said to you in that moment is in there. What needs to be said to you in the way that it's going to connect with you is in there. So as you become more and more aware of just how much of a navigational, you know, a quantum navigational system you have, you're going to be able to trust your instincts. You're going to be able to know what's right for you at any given moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll tune into readers, you know what I'm saying, like the next person, you know, it depends. It really depends on if I'm having a busy season. Typically when I'm in like a heavy work phase, I don't have time for that, and I'll listen to a lot of music. Or like lo-fi is my jam, because it reminds me of like the trip hop of my era. You know, or I might like watch travel videos and vicariously travel, you know what I'm saying? Watching other people's adventures and that kind of thing, because like while I'm typing that, you know, and I'm in a certain wave, it's I don't know, it just does it for me. But then there are times where I have like downtime, and, you know, the folks that I trust, you know what I'm saying? Whose energy feels right, and then on top of their energy feeling right, it lines up, like they're on point and they're authentic, like they're accurate, and their intentions are right. You know what I'm saying? Like you can feel that the intentions are right, that it's not, you know, the focus of what they're doing is not driven by, you know, mundane realm reasons, but it is driven by a higher frequency of direction. You know what I'm saying? Oh gosh, there was something else I wanted to say, and I don't know if that's gonna happen, because I think it's just popped out of my head, and maybe that's because I'm being too verbose. So I'm probably just gonna jump into these pick a card readings. I'm feeling like, I already channeled from Spirit the animal totems and the colors that are the color rays that you guys can work with at this time. I was going to do 3 groups, and Spirit told me 2. So, you know, maybe because there's a okay, I'm getting acknowledgement, like, yeah, there's a binary wave thing going on, so it's probably why it's like what end you're on type of thing. So, you know, for those of you who come back and listen to readings again because you feel drawn to hear the other group, like something's drawing you to that, it can be that, okay, now you've done your portion on a certain end of a binary, and now you're going to that other end of the binary experience, and now the reading, you know, for group 1, 2, 3, depending on how many is in any given pick a card, because sometimes I do 3, sometimes I do 2, and I definitely plan to do more than just 3 groups in the future as my tech improves and I can do longer videos where you guys can actually see the cards. You know, you could just go with whatever at any given time you're drawn to. You know what I'm saying? And it has a message for you. And for that matter, I do want to add really quickly, there kind of whether or not a person sets their intention that there's going to be an evergreen or a timeless effect to their readings, that kind of just is how it works anyways. In general, when Spirit is speaking to you, or when you're seeking information, Spirit uses symbol. So if there's already a message available to you, it might just pop up in your feed. You know what I'm saying? And you might feel drawn to it. It might be a channel that you've never seen before, or it might be a channel that maybe you gave up on, but today it feels right. Well, then click on it and see, you know what I'm saying? See what Spirit has for you. Spirit can speak through a number of things. There's even, Stitchamancy, where you can pick up a book, set your intent, you know, for whatever message from Spirit to come through to you, open the book to the page and the passage and read and see how it applies to your situation. So part of what I love about pick a card readings is that as you all tune in, every time you try a pick a card reading, you know, a timeless reading, you know, from any channel, and you take that moment to go into the description box, you may not, I don't know if you probably do, you have to do the timestamps in most of these videos anyways, right? So, but, you know, you take the time to tune in. That's you're flexing literally subtle body muscle, if you will. And this only enhances your third eye. This makes you stronger every time you do it. You can trust your intuition. You can trust that you can do a reading right now. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there, because so many of y'all are psychic, and I just don't know that you give yourself credit for what you're able to tap into. You know what I'm saying? Really, like, for your own life. And then if you feel guided to guide others, then you know what's up. Then you've been tapped, and you're ready to explore this on a level where you're going to be of service to others. And it's a beautiful thing. It feels good. It feels good to me. And then as someone, you know, we've all had someone read for us, whether it's in person, through YouTube, over the phone, if you're calling talk line, whatever, where it made all the difference in the next direction you took on your track. So imagine you yourself, if this is your calling, that is, being able to do that for someone else. All right. I don't know. You know, when I do these intros, I let it flow, and that's kind of what I feel like conveying at the moment. So it's probably pertinent. It's not, you know, an officialized reading that's coming in a moment. But consider that you're getting stronger every time you tune into a timeless reading, or, you know, an evergreen reading, a pick a card reading, and you're selecting where you feel drawn. You know, some of them have like totem animals, and then, you know, maybe you feel drawn to the bear or whatever. So you go, you know, you click on that, and then you find this message that has everything to do with what you're going through, and gives you a sense of solace in your heart and what have you. You know, there's so much worth in that. You know what I'm saying? So if you do feel called, and you're not already like at a certain point of comfortability in doing readings, but you feel like it's something that might be for you. You know, we're still in Scorpio season. The reason these words are coming out of my mouth may have something to do with some of the unveiling that takes place in Scorpio season. You know, so it might be that some of y'all are getting ready to stop being scared of your gifts. You know what I'm saying? Or in denial of them. All right, I'm going to move on rather than get into, you know, onto the roller coaster of excursion that I'm so good at writing. If you'll take a moment to look into the description box, select the group that resonates the most with you, the strongest vibe, where you feel pulled, and you can use the scroll bar to move ahead to that portion in the video and see what Spirit has for you. All right, y'all? So I'm going to give y'all a moment to do that before I start with group 1. And then if you need more time, you could just press pause, and then, you know, from there, just scroll. Or you may not have to scroll. You know, if you're group 1, then you just unpress pause. You know what I'm saying? All right? So if you need to press pause now. I'm going to be moving on to group 1. Just a moment. Of your deck, y'all, is take responsibility for your greatness. All right, that's one of those messages that sometimes, you know, when you're feeling down, it can seem like a big statement, but the beauty of shadow work is when we have to go through these different periods of shadow work, we come out on the other end with more strength. It's like diving for treasure, and you know, there are those things that try to scare us away from the treasure. And that's why we get these messages from Spirit that have come through so often, you know, on this channel anyways. Do not engage. Don't create any, you know, avoid creating quantum entanglements with past timelines when you're going in to do this shadow work. Just go get your treasure. Go get your power. Go get the thrust, the drive that's in you to move up into higher timelines. Because that's what ends up happening. When you tap into primal wave energy, it works to help you clear and thrust yourself upwards to higher timelines. And that's going to be, at the crown chakra end of the spectrum. What y'all have here, good comes to me in the divine masculine or yang placement. This, sorry, just a moment. This can be, whether the person is, whether we're talking about the divine masculine as an embodiment of masculinity, or we're talking as your sacred other, if you're a divine feminine listening, or we're talking about your divine masculine energy within you. Good comes to me is what is showing up in this reading in answer of where you're headed now. What I'm getting is that the road may seem a little dark and uncertain right now, but I'm also picking up safety energy. I also pick up lurking energy of negativity that may be trying to mess with you, but it looks like it's not finding an access point because Spirit's been doing the work in the background. So you can actually walk through this dark forest, you know what I'm saying, without getting snapped up. You can walk through it. And as you're in it, I'm getting like this visual of the landscape changing, around you. And you finding yourself comforted, you finding yourself, it almost feels like this huge wrapping of, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, like love energy, you know what I'm saying? Love energy, gifting energy, where you can actually be calm. And it must be, I'm seeing like a child walking through the darkness as I'm saying this, and it looks like a female child, but it's, it doesn't necessarily have to apply in the gender sense. But that's speaking directly to me as the inner child, kind of being afraid to walk through the forest, seemingly alone, but you're not alone. And as you get through it without feeding into that fear, you find the landscape changes, into just this abundant and welcoming place. So there's definitely some astral stuff going on with that. And perhaps it will come up and, I'll speak on it if it does. But good comes to me is a 6D card. This is a third eye card, y'all. Gratitude. This is one of the ways that our perceptual, that we learn how powerful our focus is, how we can use our third eye as the utilize our third eye as the perceptual lens that it is. You can go out expecting the good to come to you, and you can find it. And that's really the wave that I'm getting as I'm tuning into the energies coming through the card for the reading. It's a sacred blooming suit, so it's like you're coming into, you're getting, some of your petals are starting to come out of that tight and closed bud, but there's that hesitancy energy, that could be at play. So good comes to me is an affirmation. That is, some of these cards are straight up affirmations, and the other cards you can turn into affirmations. But when it's a straight up affirmation, I definitely say, and it's like 2 of these are straight up affirmations, and the other one's very easy to flip into an affirmation. I recommend utilizing these to get yourself into that thought frequency so that you can actually receive what's coming through, because when you place your attention on the rewards that are headed your way, you walk towards those rewards, and those rewards walk towards you. When you keep looking to ideas that negative things could happen because of bad things that have happened in the past and past timelines, or things you perceived as bad, because sometimes those bad things have done us big favors in terms of personal empowerment and propelling us forward on our paths. But when you look in that direction, then you get to replay that scenario. So this is definitely a great time to, in an easy way, get into the good vibe waves. You know what I'm saying? Dandelion is the flower that's associated with it. So you can actually, if you don't have dandelions handy, you can tap into the astral spirit of the dandelion, and see what you get out of that meditation. Because everything starts in the astral. Well, everything's in the astral before it's here. I'm not going to say it starts in the astral, but it's in the astral before it winds up here. All right, this is we're below, the physical world is below the astral, we'll put it that way. All right, let me see if there's anything else coming up. I think divine masculine embodiments are feeling confident, but there's a hesitancy coming up as well. It's not as strong as I picked up initially tuning into this card, but it's kind of like there's a, watch out for overthinking energy. Trust your instincts. That's the vibes coming through spirit. Trust your instincts. Watch out for self-fulfilling prophecies. Watch out for looking for trouble, because there's a little bit of that energy coming up too, kind of like sitting in watch and kind of waiting for some, potential nonsense to pop off and feeling ready to come at it. But, there's a better application for the energy. Getting in touch with your heart is I'm being given through spirit. Getting in touch with your heart energy. Tying up any loose ends that need to be tied up. Doing some soul searching in terms of where it is you want to go. The totem that came out for y'all for group 1 is the owl. And this has everything to do with, wow, it's bugged out. Because 60, that third eye wave, and then the owl. And the owl is definitely a third eye animal totem. I mean, it's not bugged out. I should be used to this by now, but I enjoy the the pleasantness of having these moments of awe. It's just how everything synchronizes. The perceptual lens is being calibrated. So if you work with the owl totem, you'll be able to, the way that it feels, you'll be able to tap into your gut, which has a lot to do with what's going on in the astral, and combine that with whatever it is that you're seeing, so that you have a stronger handle on the experience rather than being confused, and also more access to your power as well. And the color that you can work with, being given gold. Spirit also said white. These are frequencies where white is repellent. It doesn't absorb. You know what I'm saying? So if something's coming at you with intent to harm, there is a certain repellent energy to that spectrum. So you can actually have, like, if you have like white sleeping clothes, or and you're utilizing it with intent, like you're tapping into the frequencies of it, that can assist you when you're sleeping and that sort of thing, from any attempts at perceptual attacks. And the gold, really, it has a lot to do with, like, it's like a knowing, it's like the gut feeling, but like the knowing level of the gut feeling, like when you just know. Working with that with your third eye is, it may cause you to do some release work. There could be some tears that come out of it. But in the process of it, it's like you're going to know beyond the shadow of a doubt what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Like what it is that you need to do to get through whatever roadblock, get past whatever deception someone's trying to throw at you. But it's about self-empowerment and self-belief ultimately. So bringing it back to what Spirit was guiding with, like the heart healing, the heart focus. Ultimately, that's where you're wanting to get. So working with Owl and working with the gold ray, or kind of white linens, if you feel like you're going to sleep and you don't want to be dealing with anything coming at you, that can assist you in this process as you're getting in touch with how you really feel in your heart, and allowing that to guide you on this third eye journey. Divine Feminines, you're dealing with 8D self-mastery energy, and it is all about self-acceptance, ladies. I accept myself is the subtext of this card. And I'm sorry, I accept myself is the card. It's also an affirmation, and the subtext is alchemy. Let me correct myself. The subtext is alchemy. So self-acceptance is literally alchemy. You know what I'm saying? You can accept yourself at a perceived lowest state, or in this case, it's more of a, self-acceptance, but doing it on dimensional levels through this ascension process, where aspects of us that we've been rejecting for years because we were taught to, or decades and generations and what have you, through whatever DNA patterns we picked up and whatever lines we came through for this incarnation, we can overcome that programming with every act of self-acceptance. Now, self-acceptance is as simple as, if you don't want to do something, you really don't want to, you begin to build a self-confidence within yourself, meaning that you can confide in yourself, you can trust yourself when you say no. Instead of feeling like, well, what if so-and-so needs me, or what if it's going to seem rude, or what if, when you get off the kind of the what if branch of the road, and you come into, well, what is it I want to do right now? Then you know what to do. And I'm not talking about out of anger or, escapism from a bad feeling. I'm talking about, like, what you want to do, lining up with your heart. And this is as above, so below. So really paying attention to your thoughts right now, divine feminines, embodiments, or any divine masculines who are tuning in. This could also, if it's not representing the divine feminine sacred other, like your partner, it can also be referring to your divine feminine energy within your yin energy, your emotional realm, your intuitive realm, your inner child, that sort of thing. So, just a moment. I think a lot of you feel like you're on the brink of understanding or comprehending things, but it's just like those little bits of, and it's like little bits of self-doubt that kind of, can cause you to be in a stuck place when you give in to them. So really, I would just chant, I accept myself. I accept myself, like, repeatedly, until you get into a trance state. It's how you rock it with affirmations or mantras, and mantras mean mind tools. Man means mind, and tra means tools in Sanskrit. So, to me, affirmations are, very similar concept, and you chant it until you start to feel a change, you know what I'm saying, in your energy field. That's you coming into the frequency of it. And that's how you're going to begin to, if you're not already, there, that's how you're going to begin to really get a handle on the work and working with your energy, and you'll come into these different kind of secrets and things that need to be released, and these rewards that were waiting behind them, and these hidden talents and gems and that sort of thing. So a lot of you have dealt with being, kind of ganged up on, whether it was groups of frenemies, whether it was family situations where you dealt with a black sheep role, whether you were honed in on and picked on, you know what I'm saying, in the halls of mind control academia, where they teach you to learn by rote and only accept what you're told instead of think critically. Those are traumas that you can begin to heal through self-acceptance, simply through the act of self-acceptance. In that process, the part of you that you have rejected comes online more and more and more. You know what I'm saying? So that's really important right now, so that you don't box yourself in, and so that you don't have an obscure lens unnecessarily, and also so you don't push your divine masculine away inadvertently while you're trying to figure out these riddles that you don't really need to figure out, because if you just trust what you know, if you just trust your intuition on the matter, then you have the answer and you know what to do, and you can connect with your divine masculine and have some really profound and deep experiences and learn something from him, because he's in a place, he's dealing with that deep that deep experience. It's kind of, I don't know, it's like it's in a way, it's like a binary wave of like, there's like a depth to it, faux show, but there's a height, there's an astral height to it. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's there's a dreaming space to it and a certain level of control that he can have there. So as the two of you are able to synthesize these two energies of good comes to me and I accept myself, you'll stop to whatever degree that y'all are doing it, turning your backs on one another to go and figure something out when you actually could be figuring it out together. Maybe not even figuring out, maybe just transmuting it. Maybe there's a hidden gift that only the two of you can open because you each have an aspect of the key. Like, things like that are happening now, y'all. Things like that are happening. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely have a video that I want to post to that end. I wanted to post it last week, but, you know, it was one of those, oh, did you have a plan that you wanted that you wanted to try and implement? And it was not flowing. Just a moment. Alright, so you guys, Spirit is directing me that you guys are up-leveling the wave of you are worthy energy on the binary. So what I'm getting is, like, I guess it was that there was a stalemate or a stuckness type of energy when I entered into the reading, but now it's like, no, it's actually going up, so you're up-leveling it. It's 1D energy. So this is the existential point. This is the very, very early, the part of yourself that formed the earliest thoughts of what your worth and value is. And it's very timely. Even though this is evergreen, this is also being recorded in some full moon and Taurus waves. So it's very interesting, and it's sacred seed. So this is, you can really have some visionary experiences. The first thing I'm getting is I'm tapping into it. Have some ecstatic visionary experiences here in the up-leveling of it. Just trust and let loose. Let your divine masculine guide you. Divine masculine be, you know, in your confidence to guide, because you can literally feel the way as well as see it. You know what I'm saying? And within, if you're doing this as a sync within yourself, which, you know, of course we want to make sure that our right and left brain hemispheres are synchronized so that they can work in harmony. It's about synthesizing energy. So whether it's in the body of a sacred relationship, or whether you're tuning into this for the singular reading energy, you want to sync the visionary aspects of your masculine side, your spirit, your action. And remember that action, that fire is in crown chakra energy. For those of you tuning in during the month of November 2019. But as you're tuning into that, you want the divine feminine side to be aware that you're worthy of receiving the gifts that are going to come through, and that's how you can synthesize these energies and get rest and take it easy on yourself. Those two things are coming through spirit, and stop second guessing yourself is coming through spirit. You know more than you give yourself credit for. All right, so yeah, the you are worthy energy. See if there's anything else coming through for y'all. It's kind of like I'm getting like this vibe that Spirit wants to say, because it's not coming through like Spirit usually gives it to me. It's coming through as an empathic vibe, but it's like, it's almost like Spirit wants to say, like, how many times do you have to be told that you're worthy? Turn this into an affirmation. This is the one that isn't automatically an affirmation. It's the universe saying it to you, so to speak. The subtext is follow divine guidance, so you'll be getting, you know, signs and nudges and feelings to this end. But turn it, you know, universe is telling you are worthy. I am worthy is how you turn this into an affirmation, and trance it out. Chant it until you go into those trance energies and you are really in that wave, and that's how you're going to bring yourself where you need to go. Action is quantum, in these waves right now. So you could do a lot with your crown chakra right now, and your third eye and all of that, and really just being in that self-mastery energy. You can trust yourself. You can trust your instincts. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to close out the world to constantly go and triple think things. All right? And divine masculines, or those who have really strong divine masculine energy, you don't have to pop off at the slightest sign of provocation. So that's your thing to work with. You know what I'm saying? It's based in a reactionary wounding. Okay, I'm just checking with spirit as I'm forming the words. It's based in a reactionary wounding when you feel like someone's testing your worth, divine masculines, or those with very strong divine masculine energy. All right, so you don't have to pop off. Don't react. You know what I'm saying? Don't react. Respond. That's when you get into the mind of your inner martial artist. The martial artist responds, and that's why their moves are so nasty and so quick. And you see who's really, at a higher mastery level based on who falls because they react and get mad and give into that, and they fall off their moves. You know what I'm saying? Get into your quantum space. You're going to know exactly what you need to do, and who really does not have really anything to do with your path forward. So there's no reason to give them so much attention or any. You know what I'm saying? Because some of these things that pop up, I'm telling y'all, they pop up to throw you off so that you have a hard time getting back to that track. And sometimes that can take weeks. So I really would guard against playing with these energies, and don't get entangled anywhere that you don't need to be entangled. When you go out in the world, rock an amethyst if you have a really hard time controlling kind of your impulses within. Rock an amethyst when you're out in the world so you don't pop off, and so you can keep reminding yourself, but also have the aid of like a really solidified vibration that's in line with the crown chakra to keep you in a state that just makes you less triggered and more inclined to look at the situation through an alternative lens, so that you can find a way to remain in a state of detachment. Or if it's something that you're looking to detach from, find a genius way to do so if it's particularly clingy or is harassing you, or hopefully not stalking you in any way at this point. All right, y'all. I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to move on to group 2. If you are interested in tapping into more readings, Ascension updates and commentary, Ascension tools, and you haven't already, you can click subscribe and the notification bell. And if you did enjoy the video and you feel that it's something that others should be exposed to, please remember to hit the like button, because that lets YouTube know that you like it, you know what I'm saying, so you would recommend it, and now, it becomes a little more visible and a little more accessible for whoever else it may be meant to reach. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and blessings on your ascension journey, and enjoy the dreamy energy around this. Like, there's potential here, y'all. There's potential to play around with some of this astral energy in a fun way. I gotta make some videos. I gotta make some I've been wanting to do that, but there have just been so many practical things that were pulling at my attention that really couldn't be ignored. But yeah, I do hope to post some videos soon for, just for some of the fun aspects of what you can do in the astral. But for now, follow your heart light on that and explore it, or go look up, pop it in search, in your favorite search engine, whatever that may be, or on YouTube or Vimeo or Patreon or wherever, wherever. All right, y'all. Peace. All right, group 2s. Just clearing the deck. Messages are there for you. I did the pre-channel, and y'all's totem animal for this time is the rabbit, the wabbit. I love the Wabbits, you guys are grounding, aka embodying energy. And Spirit's also having me give you an up-leveling card. So I guess you're going to be bouncing from what's coming through Spirit. You're going to be bouncing between these two poles with these energies and the lessons that are attached to these energies and opportunities for about a week from the time of hearing this reading. I am worthy of respect is at the top of the pile. It's not one of the drawn cards, but I've noticed, and so I've started incorporating into readings that the top card has messages that are really relevant to the readings. So now I mention it. And the subtext is boundaries. So we'll see how that plays in, or, what messages come through as I tune into these energetic pathways. All right, so the divine masculine focus, aka the yang focus, which we all possess. This is our action, you know what I'm saying, our spirited way of approaching things, our fuel, our energy, how we project energy. And you have live your dreams here. So if you want to look at this as a sacred embodiment of your sacred other, you can utilize this reading to look at the dynamics that are going out for the divine feminine and masculines in those situations. But you can also look at it individually as you work to synthesize your two aspects of yourself within, of yin and yang, get your right and left hemispheres into more of a sync and that sort of thing. So, live your dreams. Sacred Dreamer is the subtext of this card. It is a 10D card. The resident feline god is up to something right now. What you doing? He done got into the closet. I'm going to let him be in the closet right now. This is a 10D card of image, ordained. So you are in some image and ordained waves. This means your projection power is very, very, very strong, and your ability to receive, very strong. So be very aware of the thoughts that are passing through your mind. If you're having any kind of difficult time keeping your mental focus, to keeping your mental level focused, let's just put it that way, work with some high vibrational or high frequency binaurals, and just kind of zone out. If you like to draw, if you like to flip through magazines, whatever it is you like to do passively. If you're having a difficult time with focus, you're probably having some energy challenges. So get into positive waves. Basically, when we go into that zone where we have a difficult time being focused and in our projective energy, we're in like a receptive place, but it's like it can be a receptive place that's unstable or doesn't necessarily have control, and so we can be unwittingly taking things in, or just passively taking things in that aren't good for us. So the advice here would be a little more clear on what, and decisive on what it is you are taking in. That way you can image and ordain with those energies from a receptive place. For those of you who are in a, higher vibrational wave, you've done a lot of purging, and you've really stuck to it, you know what I'm saying? Like your motivation, your drive is very invested. I'm picking up like an unstoppable, I'm moving forward vibe coming from this, and expansion of personal horizons and what's actually possible. So what this is creating in the astral, or creating in the astral and what you're able to tap into in the astral is really beautiful at this level. Sure, it's still Scorpio season, so there are certain astral zodiac construct energies to be aware of. If you start to feel energy drained, if you start to feel like something's trying to intrude on your energy, and you could really just work with some amethyst, some high-frequency quartz crystals to get your focus back, because really it's a hit the ignore button situation right now. I can't convey that enough. For those of you who are listening to it like at the moment, that it's pretty much dropping, because this is intended to be evergreen. You could tune in anytime, and the message will be there for it's for you. But in this particular month, when this has been recorded, the advice has been to go into that crown chakra frequency and avoid being pulled into quantum entanglements, basically. So anyone who's trying to get your goat, they can do this in your face, or they can do this passively. People can do this by drawing your energy. Some of you empaths might be dealing with people that try to make you worry, and they get energy that way. Whether they just try to plant ideas in your head or whatever have you, or whether they're just being used by something to get you distracted. So be aware, of what's going on. You don't have to feed into any odd, jacked up energies that people are experiencing, because it is a purge season. It is a season where if you're not careful, something can come through and really be on that vampiric tip and try to get you for whatever light can be gotten. And when we're doing energy work that has us at various dimensional aspects of ourselves, it can be risky, because you want to maintain what you have. You want to have a stability within self, and whatever you're giving out, you're receiving for what you give out, so that you're not in situations where you're being used. You know what I'm saying? So empaths, we're learning more and more how to avoid being used by the way that we position ourselves. We're learning how to get out of those thoughts that we somehow have to take the crumbs, or we somehow have to take less, because that's the spiritual thing. In all reality, fair exchange is the order of the day. And that's a message that has to, on a microcosmic level, gather more and more momentum, so that we can see changes on a macrocosmic level in society. The more y'all take shorts, it can do a disservice to the world, because it creates a resonance. The more that you allow the good to come in, if the good's coming to you, the good's for you. Let it come in. Don't question it. Don't, you know what, this is great, but my sister needs this. I'm going to give it to her instead. Start to enjoy some of the things that are coming in for you without guilt. Guilt is a trick, y'all. Unless you've done somebody wrong, guilt is useless. You know what I'm saying? And if you've done somebody wrong, guilt is about as useful as anger is. It's for a couple of seconds, so that you can acknowledge the warning. And now you can say, okay, what am I going to do with this? Okay, if you don't feel good about something that you did, how can you redeem yourself? You don't, you feel angry. Is it justified? How can you restore balance to the situation? Is it worth your energy? Is this a situation to just walk away from? That's about as useful as those lower vibrational emotions tend to be. It's what you're going to do with them. And then they need to go. You don't hold them in your aura. What real reason would you have for not, you know what I'm saying? Really, how can you justify a feeling of not being worthy of receiving? That was imposed. That was an imposed level of thought. It's time to come out of that. All right, y'all? So, divine masculine embodiments. What I'm getting with this energy is a lot of visionary work. Some of y'all having experiences, some spiritual experiences, and a load being taken off of your back. The energy is very, very watery. This is, from what I'm picking up with the card, so I'm sitting here holding it like I got a camera, like you can see it. I really have to, I have the phone camera, but I really, when things are in order for that, the plans are to have a better setup so that you guys can actually see the cards. The energies I'm picking up from, it's like a limitless potential energy, where y'all have gone into a space of exploring possibilities, but from a really innocent inner child level. And I'm seeing babies of an age, a crawling age. You know what I'm saying? So this is probably tapping into that early in life where you began to form ideas of what was possible for you. So whatever liberations are taking place here, it's really, so what Spirit's given me, it's really about getting in touch with your wings, your sense of flight, your sense of soaring, your willingness to get up and go after what it is that you want. But this this experience, this very yin energy that you're having right now is making it possible for you to identify what you want. And the only challenge really is going to be that part of you within that says, well, you can't have that. That won't come to you. Like, that's image and ordained that it can come. When you get into that dream space, and this can be a waking dream space, it could be a sleeping dream space, but the subtext of this card is Sacred Dreamer. So the dreams that come through right now, there are sacred messages in them, and the dreams that you are making right now are sacred. So as you are in that space, come from the heart, be really real with yourself about what it is you want, and realize that, look, the astral realm is what precedes this physical realm, y'all. What you want is possible. What you want is possible. So it's start with that simple, basic building block realizations. If you can access it in the astral with your mood and your vibe, you can access it here. We've been taught a lot of you've got to do this and you've got to grind. And I am a hard worker. I believe, in really investing energy in what, what I'm saying, what you're about, what you're building. But the idea that you have to grind and grind and grind and grind and grind as if that is the mode. What really gets you where you're going before you even get into grind mode is that curiosity and that willingness to explore new potential and going after it. The initial courage, heart. That initial heart prompting that, that looks interesting. I think I'd like to join that creative team and apply, if like you're a designer or a tattooist or a beat maker, you know what I'm saying? It's that initial putting yourself out there. So you're in that, it's still got like an incubation feeling to it, but you're in that vibe in about a week from the time of you hearing this reading, where now it's going to become you going out there and, just a moment, and trying things. But be careful, because there are, when I tuned into it, like energies, it's looking like that are going to be really trying to discourage you. So start your mornings with some binaurals, some affirmations, and not just passively. Like, really get into that vibe. Allow yourself to be excited. Find motivators that get you motivated, where you're like, I'm about to seize the day for real after you listen to them. Drink some water before you drink your coffee. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. That's something I actually, because I've started the water with coffee too much, but it's an ingrained habit, like, over decades. But, start your morning, be aware that that's the touch point for the day, and start your morning accordingly. If you intend to have a productive day, then go into it with productive affirmations, productive manifestation practices, you know what I'm saying? And motivate yourself. Get the fire stoked within you before you step out. And those are going to be the vibes that you take with you into the day that go on to attract things to you and enable you to make connections with people who are on a similar wave. And that is how you get to the next step of grind hard. But getting in the door starts with dreams, and it starts with your heart, and then it starts with the courage of the heart to push forward towards those dreams. All right, y'all. You don't want to be stuck in a cycle of grinding hard and going nowhere and not working on what you really want. If you have to grind doing a 9 to 5, give love and attention to your side job. Find a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're dealing with people who are dragging on your time, distracting the hell out of you, it's time for you to decide what's more important. Do you want to be distracted and then find yourself in 10 years, you know what I'm saying, with unfulfilled dreams, and then friendships can be transitory if you're not really rocking with your team like that, you know what I'm saying, and then maybe a whole new flock of friends that you just hang out with and do nothing with, you know what I'm saying? So it is a time to really ask yourself what everything in your life is bringing to your experience, where you want to be, why you've made the choices you've made, but do so with a gentle honesty with yourself, because remember, you're working, by the way it's coming through as I tune into the card, you're working with a level of yourself that is very young, and so dealing with that dimensional aspect, feed it those dream possibilities. Really feed those dream possibilities. And we can come back to this. I'm going to move on to the Divine Feminine. For those of you looking at this for relationships and synthesizing, the joyous expression is what comes out. Either way, whether you're dealing with this, within yourself or within a relationship, you're looking to synthesize your ability to get in touch with your presence. Presence is the subtext of the joyous expression card. You're getting in touch with your presence, how you and how you receive. That big time factors into it. It's a 5D card, so confidence in how you express yourself, and it has really in your authentic self. Not what you think people want to hear, not what you think it's going to be the profitable thing to say, not any of that. For when this is coming up as an energetic pathway, the advice, it's about what is your presence truly, and then having the courage to be received well, just as you are. And there may be layers of yourself that come up, you know what I'm saying, that reveal hidden facets of yourself that are also authentic expression. So I'm not saying I don't know, I'm saying take the pressure off of you to have to of thinking in any way that you have to impress or impress others. That right now, for Divine Feminines, there's some fears that are attached to it, that are attached to some traumas for sure, from the way the energy is feeling to me, where this may lead back to lifetimes or just generational connections within your bloodline, where not adhering to what was considered approvable was met with violence. I just saw, an image that was suggesting violence, like people being beaten for not adhering to a certain presence. All right, so when we're clearing out these kinds of things, or transmuting, really, because the transmutation opportunities of this season are very deeply rooted, and can help you to dislodge just ingrained things that are no longer useful, dislodge energy patterns that you've perpetuated unconsciously of disempowerment. And the way you can do this is simply by presenting yourself as you are, but it's a joyous expression. So get into your high vibes, get into that sense of exploring and meeting people and connecting with people. And it's a 5D energy. It's a higher energy. We're not talking about going out there with the intent of developing extremely deep bonds. It can happen, but this is really getting to the joy. And this is where the Divine Feminine will do best to focus energies at this time. Going too deep, for those of you who picked group 2, going too deep it's too much for y'all right now. There's a lot kind of at the depths related to traumas that are really just trying to pull you back in. For some of you, just on some possession type stuff to lock you away. Relationships that maybe just want to put you on a shelf and won't let go. These types of things, you just rise up. Rise up in the waves, so that what you're attracting is actually a higher level of connection. And at this time, it's really looking like those higher levels of connection are going to start with exploring and seeing that there are really just different approaches to life out there than perhaps the groups that you have been connecting with, or maybe just some of the one-on-ones you've been connecting with, however it's manifesting for you. But this is any connections or friendships or family relationships and dynamics that would restrict your sense of who you are, where you feel like you can't, you know what I'm saying, do anything without being met with like criticism or being met with like something trying to like pull you down. And for some of you, I'm picking up really strongly, like it would be like nonsensical, like something really just trying to come at you as if like as if you're just the black sheep of the family or the group, where something just really trying to throw at you some negativity. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's not justified. So those types of folks right now, it's kind of like they need to be put into a kind of quarantine when it comes to what you look at, what you think about, and what you allow yourself to be pulled into, because they have their own things that they're dealing with right now. Some of them are getting checked, you know, because their vibration is too low, they're too vampiric, and, you know, it is what it is. This season is what it is. So rather than get caught up in that mess, or by association find yourself having to deal with their energetic burdens because they're choosing to be in a very nasty space, and they're thinking nasty critical thoughts about other people, or when they see someone else successful, they have this vibe to just pull them down. Let them deal with the universe. Let the universe handle that, and you move up, because that is not you, and it's not your problem. You understand what I'm saying? So, joyous expression. This is a very big deal for you, divine feminines. Rise up out of those waves. Some of y'all need to just move away. You may have family situations that are just not concerned with your well-being, really, outside of whatever they think is traditional or what's useful to them. So some of y'all may need to just move, travel, try different things, and really completely rediscover who you are. Others of you, there are some long-standing, and they could be generational, ancestral issues that you may be having with family members or friends, and it's kind of like they just have to become aware of their own bullshit. Oh, pardon my language. I really do try to abstain from that, because I know some folks are definitely sensitive to that. And, you know, I do want to respect it. But, like, they have to face their own... How am I going to clean that up now? Excuse me, I have to move the phone. I'm hoping this doesn't make any loud noises in the video. I do apologize for the sound quality issues that I faced in the last video. I do believe I'm on top of that now. But I didn't want to just, like, not post that reading because it was powerful. Some of these people are just stuck in anger patterns. They're stuck in, you know, like they're deceiving themselves. They seek people to deceive them. They just want to stay in this nothing works. You know, everything is, you know, dismal state of being powerless. It is not healthy for you to connect your energy to those people in a way that eats up your time and impedes your process of rising up in vibration. You can wish them well. You know, you really can. You can wish them well. You can ask Spirit, please watch out for them. You know, you know, there are ways you can send positive intentions simply by thinking well of someone without allowing them to come and help themselves to your energy and just suck all of the energy out of you. You know what I'm saying? When they come around. So, you know, this warning is coming through for a reason. It's okay, so it's coming through Spirit. It's very important right now. Really assess who you're dealing with and why, how it's affected your identity, how it's affected how you express yourself, the way that you, any roles you felt like you've had to adopt that just did not fit you. You know, because of someone else's, you know, either unspoken or unspoken control, you know, dramas. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of y'all have dealt with really possessive people who have wanted to see you fail because if you rise, they have this fear that they'll just lose you. And that's sick. You know, and I'm saying that without judgment. That's an illness. That's an illness for someone to be in that state. That's a massive self-rejection that they're in. They're in a self-rejection cycle. And until they deal with that, you know what I'm saying, come what may, they're going to have to deal with whatever waves they're generating. But it's time for the butterflies who've been locked up in cages to be set free. And the folks who have done them a disservice to deal with whatever it is they've built. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be held down. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be held down. It's not your role. You didn't come here to be held down. Okay? It's time to rise. So these energies are high, divine feminine and masculines. Now, in the context of a relationship, I know I had started to say that and I didn't quite finish. In the context of a relationship with your sacred other, there may be, the divine masculine embodiment may be a little more into himself, a little less talkative. You might even look at it as a little more spacey, but he's working on things and he's thinking and he needs his time to digest and process and look over the possibilities for the future. And that's the space he needs to be in. It's almost like a womb space right now. He needs that, right? So, and you're in this space where you're ready to talk and get out there and mingle. I would advise that avoiding to synthesize these energies, avoiding taking that personal, because I have seen some of that going around where it's like so-and-so didn't call me back, or I texted and I haven't gotten a text back in 3 hours, or some folks are going through some really deep things, and they need that time, and it's not personal in any way. All right? So rather than kind of create conflict waves, if you can realize that's actually what's, if you picked group 2, then and you're experiencing that's actually what's going on. It's not a rejection of you. It's the divine masculine is actually pulling in his energies and doing his very best to, in a lot of ways, put himself back together. But it's on it's a level of subtle energy. It's very tender. It's very delicate. And there's only so much conflict that he can deal with right now, without flipping, or was it a loved one of mine says, I don't know, I'm gonna like flip my effing gourd, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those types of things. It's very, very, very delicate, and I think this the way the waves feel, he could be going through this for a couple of weeks, y'all. All right, but it's okay. Sagittarius season's coming around. Everybody's gonna start to be feeling a little more vitality and some of that fire energy. But this is sacred work right now. This is a sacred time, and what you do is important, and it does have everything to do with how things are going to be manifesting moving forward. This is your deep, 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 deep space within you. You have the opportunity to really clear it out and fill it up with good vibes. So divine feminines, if sitting around, if you're feeling antsy or you're feeling like you're bored by your partner, just get out there and connect. You know what I'm saying? Just have some light connections. Go have a coffee date with someone you love. Go, you know what I'm saying? You got a homegirl, go get a coffee with your homegirl. You know what I'm saying? Go to the movies by yourself. Treat yourself to a movie. These sorts of things, taking it upon yourself to do what you enjoy, have a way of communicating to your partner where you're at without you nagging, because they have eyes and they're aware. And so this way, this can help whatever natural motivation that they have to spend time with you to come to the forefront without you having to get pissed, go into silent treatment, start an argument. I'm not saying any of y'all are doing that, but I'm just throwing it out there based on, what's coming up with some of the waves as I'm tuning into the cards. This is a season where, okay, so he's not available right now. He might be in the next room. but he's not available right now. What can I do at this time that will bring me joy? Okay? And when you do that and you synthesize these energies, he is going to come looking for you. And you're going to have joy to give him, and it's going to be bonding, and you're going to help him heal. But he's releasing a lot of like bitterness and a lot of heavy things, while also dreaming of possibilities and really needing that tender, soft space to do so. All right? So what you guys are grounding is so beautiful. It's I accept true love. It's the soul family card, y'all. It's also a 5D card, as it were. So y'all dealing with some 10D waves and some 5D waves. These are very beautiful waves, and they can also be utilized. You can utilize these waves to bring more joy into your life and activate some of your deepest dreams. You know what I'm saying? That are actually possible, and get past that inner critic or any outer critics that manifested or that were here when you came in, that have held you down. You know what I'm saying? I accept true love. It's getting into that vibe where your light is shining, and because your light is shining, your soul family can see it, and they can send you light, or they can come connect with you, or you might meet new soul family members as well. And you're embodying this energy. So the way I'm feeling, the way this energy is coming through, is that you are really coming to realize your worth. As you embody this energy, as it comes into a grounding focus, because remember, Spirit was saying that it's going to kind of bounce back between the two poles, and I'll tell you the up-leveling one in a minute. But you're embodying this sense that you really do deserve the good. It's there. So when those moments happen, like, okay, so Spirit is giving me, like, do affirmations. Like, I accept true love. When you get into that vibe and it starts to dawn on you, you know, and it could be on the heels of something that's unpleasant. It could be that someone let you down, or someone said something really highly critical or negative, and it kickstarts this, oh, I'm not having that, I deserve better. And then you really start thinking about it, and you deserve better. As you come into that, I deserve better. Now get into the vibe of, and I accept true love. Because love comes in all kinds of forms, and when it's true, it's a true flowing energy. It's not requiring you to stop your life and become a Stepford doll for somebody who can't handle a partner with an identity. It's not going, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to shower you with gifts so that now it can throw that back at you, you know, when you're like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm having a weekend with the girls, or I'm having a weekend with the guys, and that person's like, with all that I do for you, you're just going to leave me here alone for the weekend? Like, that's manipulation. Be very careful with folks like that. They can seem very, 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 very nice. And showering you with things, and then, you know, you need a little breathing space, and then you see what's really behind the curtain. So I accept true love. Get into that wave. Chant your way into that trance state, and get into the waves, and do that as much as you possibly can as your grounding energy, so that you can have more of an experience of those magnetics showing up in your reality, because stuff works, y'all. This is manifestation. This is what we do anyways. What I talk about in this channel is taking what you do anyways and making sure you're doing it with, like, high frequency intention, rather than thinking those same disempowered thoughts that have come through generational lines and that sort of thing, and traumatic experiences in life. You flip the script. You force a paradigm shift by claiming your sovereign right to create your life. And you put out the high frequency thoughts that are going to create it. And the same way those negative thoughts created poverty or hamster wheel life or disempowering relationships, and all of that, is the same way these high frequency waves are going to bring in true love partners. Whether they're friends, whether they're romantic partners, whether it's a sister from another mother you never knew you had, that you happen to meet because you're out, you know what I'm saying? You're just out to get some food. You felt like you wanted something that was good. You know what I mean? You were willing to spend a little bit of extra money, even in this challenging economic season. And you're like, I'm gonna go treat myself to something nice. And by you doing something nice for you, the universe is like, we're gonna do something nice for you too. And you meet the sister you never knew you had. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things to think about. True love connections are true love connections, and they feel like it, and you know it, and they're beautiful to experience, and you're worthy of it. And it's time to realize you're worthy of it, so that you can cease, like really just stop the cycle of taking care of everybody else, or getting pulled in a million different directions, you know, and then nothing really comes back to, you know what I'm saying, your plate. Or begrudging help comes back to your plate. You know what I'm saying? Empaths can do better. You can do much better, but it starts within. It's a decision. You'll be up-leveling. Accept the support extended to you. Solidarity is the underlying subtext of the card. So this is suggesting you have extremely high vibrational solidarity going on, you know, at the heart level. All right, so which brings us back to that, you know, what we were just talking about with what you're grounding and embodying. So as you focus on up-leveling and you're dealing with like amethysts and crystals and meditating and listening to your binaurals, do so from a space of accepting the support that is extended to you. I would turn it into an affirmation. I accept the support that is extended to me, and know that there already is a solidarity out there for you. You already have a kindred team, even if you don't feel like it. Even if you feel like you make poor choices where people are concerned. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a team. But if your frequencies have you in a self-talk where you're like, you know, where you're feeling like no one loves you or checks for you, or sometimes they do, but they always want something. If you're in those frequencies, that's what you're allowing to be in your life. That's what you're accepting as reality. So this card is saying, accept the support extended to you. So now you flip the script, and you don't go into those thoughts of, oh, so-and-so said they were coming to pick me up, and we were going to do such and such, but, you know, bailed again, you know, with some lame excuse. Or I really need, you know, maybe you're not feeling well, you need to get to a doctor's appointment, and the person who's supposed to bring you ghosts you. You know what I'm saying? And for whatever reason, your car's in the shop this week. I'm just, you know, pulling situations out of the air. And you're feeling like, where is the support? Whenever my car is running, everybody needs a ride. But where's the support when I need it? Well, that's a great question. Why aren't you accepting support? And really, if you really search yourself, please leave feedback if you really search yourself and you don't find that there's resistance within at that very statement, accept the support extended to you. If you don't feel like a little tightening in your solar plexus chakra, and I'm talking to those of you who are having a problem with having your reciprocity come back to you. So there's resistance within, and this is what this energetic pathway deals with. So turn this into an affirmation of, I accept the support extended to me. The cards accept the support extended to you, so it's being said to you. Do that. Now flip it. I accept the support that's extended to me. I accept the support that's extended to me. Just do it. Just do it. I accept the support that's extended to me, and see what comes. See the solidarity that comes. See what is sent to you that is actually for you. And embrace it and receive it with gratitude. All right, y'all? I think that is your reading. We're about 39 minutes in. I do try, depending on, group to group, it's not always going to be the same. Some messages are longer than others, but I feel a way when I do one reading and it's like, one was 40 minutes and then the other's 20, and then I feel funny, like I'm not giving the same amount of time, but sometimes the messages just are what they are. Remember, I Am Worthy of Respect came up, excuse me, at the top of the deck. It's not one of the cards that was drawn, but at the top of the deck. And this is about your personal boundaries. So the way I think this feeds in is if whenever you start to feel like something's trying to suck you in that you don't want to be sucked into, and I think a lot of you tuning into this are empaths, so whenever you experience that, respond like within yourself. I'm worthy of respect. There should be a boundary here. Especially when you feel someone like vamping you, or you're around a person, all of a sudden you have no energy. It's time to go. It's time to draw a line. Really. Because we're not just creating small situations. This is not the same layout of time as the last era. This is now the decisions you're making. You're making a lot of people are making quantum level decisions, and you don't want to do that unconsciously. Trust and believe. All right? I hope this was helpful to y'all. I thank you for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, I thank you for liking and subscribing, those of you who take the time. It does help to raise the algorithms, it helps to work with the algorithms of YouTube to raise awareness that the video even exists. So if you feel like this was helpful and others should be, exposed to the option of seeing it on their feeds, pressing a like helps facilitate that process. And if you are not subscribed already, but you do want to receive notifications, click subscribe and the notification bell, and you'll receive notification when readings are posted, and Ascension updates, Ascension commentary, the different things I put in the channel. I have a few more features that I'm flirting with doing right now as well, because I also am about that holistic lifestyle, but more on the meta-holistic tip, so I'm still working that out. But there are other features that will be coming on the channel, and some very interesting people out there, so I've been thinking of featuring some of the gems that I come across, because there are some really interesting people out there, and they're like hidden. And you're like, what is the deal here? Like, why aren't we seeing more of this in society? And, I did have a zine back in the day where I would expose underrepresented cultures and artists and that kind of thing, and technologies and that sort of thing. And I think that wave is coming back. So I'm flirting with that idea. Those of you who are subscribed, if you don't have the notification bell tick, just be aware that you might have to come look for the video, because it's just not always going to show up unless you tell YouTube to let you know when a video drops. All right, y'all. I hope you have a wonderful... wait! I didn't even get that deep into Rabbit. Really quickly, for those of y'all still listening, my apologies, my sincere apologies. Y'all received the Rabbit Totem, and this is about what is out there for you and exploring it, but without fear. Rabbit may feel fear, but it still moves, and it moves fast, and it gets where it has to go. It's also, for those of you who do astral work, it is also big time associated with, time travel. You know what I'm saying? And certain astral travel experiences. So Rabbit is the totem that came up for you. I would highly recommend that you do some meditation with that to assist you with getting into that explorative vibe, where you're able to get out there and explore, feel the fear and do it anyway. A lot of these smaller totem creatures are really powerful. Really powerful. You'll have, I love Aminos. So, all animals, they're beautiful, and they have their spiritual properties like anything else. Their spiritual messages and their spiritual lessons. But, it's not always about the big ones. You know what I mean? A lot of times the smaller ones have such deep, deep wisdoms about how they move and operate in the world. And right now that is the one that y'all are receiving. And blue is a recommended color ray for you to work with. That is going to help you if you're dealing with any tyrannical energies, if you're tyrant type people who are just being, cruel, unnecessary. This is going to help you to just get out of that, just get out of that frequency. It's a color that's associated with travel and movement and communication. Even with it being Mercury retrograde, it's still a good wave to get into. And if Mercury retrograde is messing y'all up, it's actually going to help to bring the type of frequencies in that will assist you with that. You know what I'm saying? Because blue would be associated. You know what I'm saying? Like with Mercury, it's one of the colors that you would associate with Mercury, at least from the chakra standpoint. And it puts you in a mental zone, so it's going to help you to think more clearly. All right, y'all. I hope that was helpful. I'm so sorry. I mentioned it and then I didn't go all the way through it. All right, I hope you'll have a wonderful week ahead and that you are hopeful about the future and that you are proud of your presence and proud of who you are and happy to be who you are and unafraid to show it. That is how you beat the past. That is how you beat those generational time loops and you continue to move forward regardless of what tries to come up and snatch you back down into the land, you know what I'm saying, of this is not where I want to be or go back to. All right? Peace.